tonight, FEMA is expected to be in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley this week to assess the damage from last month's severe flooding. We want to bring in 4029's Robert Sir. He's joining us live tonight. And Robert, the damage in some places is still pretty visible. Turn to this tonight as we prepare for a FEMA visit in our area. President Biden at the FEMA headquarters today are at the lowest level we've seen since last June as more Americans get vaccinated. However, the CDC is now looking into whether there's any link between the shots and extremely rare cases of vaccinated young people who developed inflammatory heart disease. We want to go to ABC's Faith Abube in Washington. It was a deadly weekend across our country as shootings killed more than 130 people and injured hundreds more in just the last 72 hours. In New Jersey over the weekend, 2 people killed, 12 injured after gunfire broke out at a house party. In South Carolina, a 14-year-old girl fatally shot, 14 others hurt at an outdoor concert. And then near Santa Ana, California on Friday morning, 6-year-old Aiden gunned down in a possible road rage incident. His killer still on the loose, his mother still stunned.
The weather definitely kind of been up and down and all around recently, so, you know.
That is the theme here in Arkansas, pretty consistently inconsistent, right, Darby?
Yeah, that's, I like that. Inconsistently or consistently inconsistent.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, you know, if hot coffee and hot weather really don't do it for you, but you need your caffeine fix, as we all do from time to time, maybe a cold brew is for you.
Una Lee is actually here with
a judge issuing his sentence after Chauvin's last-ditch effort for a new trial failed earlier today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Paige Preusse.
And I'm Brandon Evans. This all began last year when Chauvin was seen on camera pinning Floyd to the ground with a knee on his neck. ABC's Faith Abube is in many. We are tracking some shower possibilities this weekend, you know?
Yeah, so let's... Darby, thank you. It was an explosive day of testimony in the murder trial of a man accused of killing a 2-year-old little girl in Van Buren. We want to bring in 4029's Matt Rains. He's joining us live right now with more on what the child's mother said about who she thinks is responsible for her child's death. Well, tomorrow is the 17th annual NWA Pride Parade, and some roads in downtown Fayetteville will be closed off to traffic, just a heads up. So East Avenue between Meadows Street and Dixon Street, and then Highland Avenue between Dixon Street and Lafayette Street will be closed starting at 7:30 in the morning for parade staging. The parade actually starts at 12 p.m. It will proceed west on Dixon Street to University Avenue. Side streets along the parade route will be closed and reopen as the parade progresses there.
A lot going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, River Valley Regional Food Bank, it is partnering with local pet shelters, Paige.
Yeah, in just a moment, we'll tell you how this can benefit animals in need. You know, today the River Valley Regional Food Bank donated more than 38,000 pounds of cat and dog food to animal rescue shelters in Fort Smith. So they do a lot of great work for human beings and animals. The distribution will help local shelters keep rescued animals fed. The local shelters will also give you free pet food to take home after rescuing one of the animals.
It also just helps.
Here, we want to take a look at the latest numbers right now. Let's start with Arkansas. So 61 more people were admitted into a COVID unit. That pushes hospitalizations closer to 1,000 tonight. More than 620 new daily cases were added. Sadly, 23 more people have lost their lives to this virus. Active cases did drop, though, by 650. Power outage. Look at this right here. You see traffic backed up. I believe this is footage around 8 this evening. Yes, 8 this evening when Arkansas State Police were working an accident, they say, south of Weddington. That Weddington exit there. No one was hurt, they say. This is video of that backup, though. You see how expansive it is. We also know tonight SWEPCO is reporting more than 5,000 customers are without power. And I know Darby's actually doing his Facebook Live prior to the show, and some viewers were writing in saying that they're still without power tonight in Fayetteville in particular. So not a great night to be without your air conditioning. Whew.
Yeah, and we'll have to see exactly what is causing that, because we know it's hot out there right now. I mean, it's just extremely hot. And
Darby, we'll check in with you then. Well, as congressional hearings into the January 6th Capitol riots are set to begin tomorrow, tonight an attorney representing one of the 3 men from Arkansas who is facing federal charges says that the hearings are highly inappropriate. 4029's Brett Rains is joining us live tonight with why. Lives to this virus. We also know Oklahoma Democrats are calling on the governor to reinstate the Oklahoma COVID-19 emergency declaration. House Minority Floor Leader Andy Fugate says In part, quote, once again, the governor is AWOL when leadership is needed. Our hospitals are again diverting emergency patients. Oklahomans deserve action and to protect lives and the state economy. The governor's office says that his position has not changed since Friday, and he doesn't plan to declare a state of emergency anytime soon. Certainly a lot of follow-ups to be had. Jamie, thank you. Also, we want to move to this tonight. Crews have paused their search for a 27-year-old woman who they say fell off of a boat into Beaver Lake. We want to bring in 4029's Emma Claybrook. She's joining us live right now with the latest on the search. Hi, Emma. And abortion rights supporters have asked a federal judge to prevent a near-total abortion ban from taking effect in Arkansas. They say that procedures should be allowed to happen while they challenge the law's constitutionality. The American Civil Liberties Union and Planned Parenthood asked the judge to issue a temporary restraining order or a preliminary injunction against the ban. Without an order, that ban will take effect. That'll happen July 20th. Today, President Joe Biden in Brussels. He was meeting with leaders of the NATO alliance. This all comes ahead of his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin later in the week. Tonight we have ABC's Karen Travers. She's traveling with the president.
It starts tomorrow morning at 9.
Tonight, the Arkansas Department of Health has confirmed it is investigating a local fire department's EMT service after a complaint was filed. It alleges that Pea Ridge's ambulance service is understaffed and unable to adequately serve people in the city. Tonight, I spoke to the man who filed the complaint, who also happens to be an EMT with that department. I also spoke to city leaders who say they're taking action. The Arkansas Department of Health says the certification Pea Ridge has for its EMS team requires them to provide 24-hour service and respond to calls within 2 minutes. Pea Ridge EMT Jason Bowman says that hasn't been the case for months.
In the last 10 months, it has become an issue to where there's days that were uncovered.
Bowman says he was working the day Pea Ridge police officer Kevin Apple was hit by a car, but he couldn't take an ambulance because by law, another paramedic had to be present.
Officer Apple was run over and didn't have an ambulance. He had to wait for somebody to come from a different area.
Bowman says he doesn't believe having to resort to another city's ambulance service that day made a difference in Officer Apple's death, but it could for someone else. The Rogers Fire Department says it was dispatched that day through what's called a mutual aid agreement.
That is for when your ambulance is already currently on a call or something like that. It's not to cover you while you don't have staff.
Bowman says Fire Chief Jared Powell instructed his employees not to notify Central Communications when they didn't have enough employees to cover their shift.
If we don't have staffing, we call CENTCOM and say, hey, we're out of service. And so that automatically rolls that call that comes in to the next service. So by them saying don't call it in, that's trying to hide the fact that we don't have coverage.
We asked Powell for a response, but he declined to comment. The mayor did react to those accusations.
No, I don't. No.
The fire chief, the interim fire chief, is he communicating any problems to you?
No.
So he said everything's taken care of.
All of our schedules are filled. Everything is doing good.
Just last week, the city says it found the means to hire 3 full-time paramedics and has received 1 application so far. I asked the mayor if this effort was in response to the investigation.
The funding has always been short. We have not been denying what we couldn't provide for them, and it's it's a long process to get things done. We've been working on trying to get the staffing up at the department for a long, long time.
The mayor says those EMT positions would likely pay $17 an hour, but that amount is not set in stone. The council also tonight approved Jared Powell as a full-time fire chief from the interim chief. And the council also voted to approve a proclamation to honor Officer Apple's life with a Remembrance Day every December 12th.